Yeah, he's this Adam. I think he does. He did the bicycle or just a three-wheeler bicycle. Yeah, he's yes, it's Adam Hitler, the itinerary, and then the YouTuber LA 2DE and Corey Moderal Monda Mondia. Yeah, 3 months ago. Yeah, it looks like he has a mountain bike tire kind of thing, and then there's a wrench, either the wrench or is the kind of like a gooseneck that sticks it. I think it could be the yeah the one that had a seat in it. Yeah, some of the ESK had a seat on it. They put it on. They did put it in the within the bicycle, but they did put it in the e-bike. Yeah, but you have to get someone to weld it or something to do with that. Two, yeah, two-wheeler, yeah, one, two, and then this will be the third wheeler, not the yeah, not the mooncool one. Oh, it's a silent one. Mint condition. Oh, they're talking about this. Yeah, yeah, the
The Wanderer
yeah, this one is
returns.
the mint condition. I think it's a comic book one. Yeah, this is seven disguised biblical rhythm that the manipulate your life. Yeah, okay. Seven discussed Bible, but no, seven discussed biblical prophecies that manipulate, yeah, manipulate your life, and then this is from beyond the version. But this is the still photo and the human humor. So I took it out from the mothball. So I'm keeping the YouTube live. When I put it in the YouTube clip, and then you know, yeah. But keep beyond the yeah. That one you could keep it, but if you ever try to change, then you should be okay. No, you should be okay. Yeah, but keep it in your files, yeah, definitely, because sometimes you want to keep in case you bothered or something, you want to change your name, then you should, yeah, it should be look okay. Yeah, keep that name on a file, and if you do change the name, yeah, and then yeah, that's okay then, yeah. Yeah, but only yeah, you won't get nothing like the noise because sometimes people want to change it. It's different, and that's 40 minutes ago. Yeah, okay. This one says yeah, don't be received. God don't say that. Yeah, the hell says that. Yeah, we'll put the hell says that. Seven discussed biblical phrases that manipulate your life. Yeah, that's it. And then the screen on that says, don't be deceived. God don't say that. Yeah, see? Yeah, see that one, yeah. The other one is exclusive that we're too young for this. 10 worst roles given to children in the Hollywood history. And then Hollywood uncovers 7 days of, yeah, you know when they're, how their outfit goes? Yeah, yeah, the shoulder length clothes goes up to chest piece. Yeah, make it look like Edwards or something from the regular human, and the hair makes it look like, but the face shrinks it. Yeah, looks like, but it's a kid. Yeah, yeah, that's like it's just a thing. This is the result picture of human humor. Let's see.
I told you that Hollywood has cast some child actors in roles so controversial they left audiences shocked. From Brooke Shields playing a child in a dark adult world in Pretty Baby to Dakota Fanning's intense and mature role in Hound Dog, here are 10 worst roles given to children in Hollywood history. 1. Micah Denley and Renee Shinyi.
Okay, let's try again. Let me see if I can get this louder because yeah, then you'll miss half of it. Let me see if I can get it. It is.
What if I told you that
Okay.
Hollywood has cast
Let me put this one up. Yeah, because it would... Oh, wait. Okay, let's see.
What if I told you that Hollywood has cast some child actors in roles so controversial they left audiences shocked? From Brooke Shields playing a child in a dark adult world in Pretty Baby to Dakota Fanning's intense and mature role in Hound Dog, here are 10 worst roles given to children in Hollywood history. 1. Myca Den Lee and Renee Shin-Yi Chen, marking their spots in Twilight Zone. The movie has 2 of the worst roles for child actors. Both Myca, then 7 years old, and Renee, age 6, were cast for the 1982 film along with actor Vic Morrow. Unfortunately, their appearance in the film culminated in a horrific accident that shocked the film industry and raised deep concerns about child safety in film shooting locations. This is one scene supposed to end in drama. Vic Morrow's character was supposed to rescue 2 Vietnamese children from a village when helicopters were attacking them. This requires special effects, complete with explosions and low-flying helicopters. The night of July 23rd promised a great finish for the sequence. However, when the special effects explosions were detonated, it was a disaster. The blast blew off and sent the helicopter off course, crashing down on the actors below. All 3, Vic Morrow, Myca Den Lee, and Renee Shin-Yi Chen, died in this devastating accident. It was a tragedy that no one could ever have prepared himself for, and the incident left the entire Hollywood community shaken. The incident threw huge questions over the safety measures with child actors on set, much more so when the scene itself seemed a dangerous one. It has been recently brought to light that the services of Myca and Renee were taken without following California labor laws. Labor in California ensures the safety of child actors against the possible harms brought about by unnecessary working hours. The state laws do not allow children to participate in dangerous stunts, especially at night. By 2:30 a.m., the scene was shot, which is far beyond the hours minor actors should engage in such activities. Another law in California provides for special permits required when children are to work under specific circumstances. In this particular case, even such permits were not obtained for the shoot. Apparently, the producers wanted to take shortcuts and circumvent the legal procedures, as such permissions were costly and cumbersome to obtain. It posed a significant danger to the safety of the children. Reports coming in from the set were that director John Landis insisted on extreme conditions for filming. Witnesses on hand appear to even warn him several times that the stunts involved were too dangerous, considering that the helicopter was hovering close to the explosions. The mishap on this day also led to criminal charges against John Landis, as well as other crew members, such as the helicopter pilot and special effects coordinator. They were charged with involuntary manslaughter. Following this highly publicized trial, which went on until 1987, all defendants were acquitted. 2. Jodie Foster. We remember Jodie Foster as one of the most talented female actresses to come from Hollywood when we think of her. Her career record is impressive, though, that it had begun when she was still a little child. At age 6, Foster obtained her first role in an advertisement, a commercial for a local department store, but it did give viewers and spectators glimpses of her talents and charm. She then appeared as Katie in the TV series The Courtship of Eddie's Father. This marked the start of Foster's rather tumultuous acting career. In 1976, she was an actress in the classic Martin Scorsese film Taxi Driver. Here, she plays the role of Iris, a young girl who is coerced into prostitution in New York City. At 12 years old, Jodie was blowing everybody away in a performance that made her a Best Supporting Actress Oscar nominee. Impressive as it is, it leaves a lot of questions. Should a child have to take on such heavy themes? The industry often puts aside such concerns and only focuses on talent and fame. The fact that Jodie played Iris in Taxi Driver makes her one of the child stars to take on some of Hollywood's worst roles. Celebrated as an important film, the movie itself was mature and disturbing enough to be off limits for a young actress. Tragically, though, such casting of minors in adult roles isn't a one-off. It very much points out an important issue in Hollywood about how kids in the entertainment sector are treated. Jodie, despite all these issues, walked through the world of acting with such grace. She continued to act in movies like The Accused, where she received her first Academy Award for Best Actress in 1989, and The Silence of the Lambs, where she received her second Academy Award in 1992. Jodie Foster proved that she could play tough roles and complicated characters. Many wonder if the industry should have let this young girl perform in such a mature role. Curiously, Jodie remained a sweet and likable figure before the public during her acting career. She was very intelligent and professional, a characteristic not so commonly found among child stars. This maturity helped her transform from a child star to an adult star who commanded respect. Some argue that early exposure to serious themes allowed her strength, thus taking on challenging roles as she grew up. It was as if the audience was ready to see her as a full-fledged adult, even when she was still young. Today, Jodie Foster is appreciated not only for her talent, but also for handling the tricky waters of child stardom. She's an example of some of the worst roles that have been assigned to children in Hollywood. 3. Linda Blair. Linda Blair is best remembered for her iconic role in the horror classic The Exorcist, catapulting her into a household name at a very early stage in her life. She had been acting since she was a little girl, appearing in numerous television commercials and landing small roles in various TV shows. But it was in The Exorcist in 1973 that she reached true stardom. In the movie, she portrayed Regan McNeil, who is a 12-year-old girl to undergoes terrifying possession. At that time, this role was not just big, but also drew attention to her early career as well. However, while the movie turned out to be a monumental success, it's also very important to note the heavy toll it took on Linda, especially at the time when she was even a minor. The shoot of The Exorcist is something that has been both a blessing and curse for Linda. On the other hand, however, the movie is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. In any case, its influence on the horror genre cannot be denied, and most fans celebrate it for the breakthrough in storytelling and scary visuals. Almost gratuitous graphicness of the film and the heavily publicized hype surrounding its release forced Linda into a depth of fame and publicity that is overwhelming enough for adult performers, to say nothing of a child. What if you were just 12 years old and had to scream and portray some of the most gruesome scenes in movie history? Linda's character does endure physical and psychological trauma, which at such a tender age, no child should ever be made to face. The film consisted of possession, foul language, detailed images, and all ingredients that are too intense for a child. In retrospect, many critics and audiences can agree with the fact that the handling of the character Regan was not that great at the time when a child actress was given such an intense and disgusting role. Linda's work as an actress for Regan is very powerful and remembered vividly, yet this is also one of the worst roles given to children in the history of Hollywood. This film sets a good example of what happens to child actors psychologically. Although it brought her critical acclaim and an Academy Award nomination, no doubt the experience was complicated. After The Exorcist, Linda Blair never seemed to be able to shake off the cinematic imagery of herself. People could only see her as the girl in the horror film and managed not to fling her into other varied roles in Hollywood. She performed through the years of trying different projects for films and Cooper and Skippy. Jackie Cooper's life is a powerful look at what it meant to be a child star in Hollywood's golden age. Born in 1922, Jackie was one of the earliest young actors to make it big on screen, starring in popular films like Our Gang and The Bowery, and even earning an Academy Award nomination at just 9 years old for his role in Skippy. This success made Jackie one of the most famous child actors of his time. However, behind the scenes, there was emotional pain and traumas, so much that he is now remembered as having had one of the worst roles given to a child in Hollywood. In the movie Skippy, where Jackie appeared in 1931, his character at one point needed to weep very deeply in that scene. Director Norman Torog, who was also Jackie's stepfather, wanted the performance they wanted from Jackie. When Jackie could not cry on cue, Torog threatened to kill Jackie's dog if he didn't start crying. That was brutal and scary to the young actor. The dog was taken outside. When Jackie heard a shot, he thought his dog was gone. Only then did the tears flow, and Torog finally got the heart-wrenching scene he wanted. The dog was fine, but Jackie was so shaken up that he needed a doctor to calm him down. This moment left an indelible scar on him, with one of his biographies even being titled, "Please Don't Shoot My Dog." The studio quickly rushed out a sequel called Suki the same year after Skippy. Jackie's fed his salary for his work, and he continued acting in films back to back. From 1931 to 1930, however, put Jackie under intense pressure instead of helping him. They had other tricks that made him cry for other movies, saying a younger boy would replace him, and even telling him that he was disappointing his family and the fans. Jackie was compelled to work long hours, up to 11 hours a day, leaving him with barely any time to go to school or play. He could not read nor write when he was around 10, his childhood hijacked by Hollywood. In the mature years of his life, Jackie managed to make himself a fine-looking leading man. He soon turned out to be more like a clean-cut leading man on TV. He used to act in shows such as The People's Choice and Hennessy. He later became successful as a director and even won an Emmy Award for his work. Later on, he even got a role as Perry White, the editor in the Superman films of the 1970s. However, success didn't erase the fact that he had been traumatized by this early age. By Jackie's 30s, he had been divorced not once but twice, and it was already considered that he was already too old for Hollywood by the time he reached his 35. Jackie Cooper. In The Champ, his starring role as the son of a washed-up drunk boxing champion in The Champ, 1931, cemented his popularity and ushered in the first of what would come to be known as a new screen image, that of the boy wife, a type of character in which, from a current vantage point, much too much emotional burden fell upon a young Cooper. In The Champ, Cooper is Dink, a very much attached boy to a now washed-up father who had been a championship boxer and who has slipped into alcoholism. He tried everything to put his father back on the right path. He took care of his dad almost as a dedicated partner would do, cleaned him up, urged him to be a better version of himself, and was there for his father during the worst. The character portrayed Jackie as an actor who could feel deeply. He played out a supportive character, bringing out innocence and devotion. Audiences loved him in that role, and the studios quickly realized that they had a new formula. Jackie's charm and depth were well suited to those caring boy-wife roles. The boy-wife character didn't stop with The Champ. Jackie played the role again and again in films like The Bowery and O'Shaughnessy's Boy, where his character often filled the role of a solicitous, almost maternal caretaker to the adult male lead. He was given such tasks as keeping the leading man clean, discouraging bad behavior, and acting as a source of comfort. Often all of the above roles were traditionally carried out by a wife or mother. It became this odd trope, especially when it came to a child actor, as Jackie was put in role after role in which he was a stabilizing influence for disturbed, dysfunctional adults. His youth, combined with these nurtural roles, blurred the traditional lines of family roles and placed a level of responsibility that weighed heavily on his image. As Jackie aged, however, this kind of role began to work against him. He could not be seen by Hollywood as anything other than the boy-wife figure, and it was thus impossible for him to break into standard adult roles typical of male actors. Although his early performances earned him great accolades, such as an Academy Award nomination, They also limited how he could be perceived by the industry. People could not envision him in any other capacity than that of the emotionally vulnerable and supportive character to which they had grown accustomed. At this time, Jackie entered his teenage years and into early adulthood. He began to typecast himself by not getting a role to grow away from the role he so wonderfully portrayed. His boy-wife image was probably one of the worst given to a child in Hollywood history. It deprived him of much-needed growth opportunities as both an actor and a human being. This late success in television and later behind the camera as a director was only the crowning of a whole career marked by these few roles. 6. Jaleel White. He is best known for the role of Steve Urkel in the popular. Many people loved the character, but the role that Jaleel took on was one of the worst he could have taken at such a young age. Jaleel White was born on November 27, 1976, in Culver City, California. He is the only child of Michael and Gail White who manages his career. He began acting as a child actor very early, and even before his television debut in a commercial when he was just 3 years old, he appeared with Bill Cosby in a Jell-O Pudding Pops advertisement. But he was just 12 when he landed the role that would turn his life around. Family Matters featured Jaleel, mainly portraying Steve Urkel, a quirky, lovable neighbor who quickly turned into the lead character of the series. Urkel's popularity is presented by his catchphrases, clumsy antics, and iconic suspenders. He became a kind of pop culture phenomenon during the 1990s. So he became a character that was something of a synonym for the show, which lasted for 9 seasons from 1989 to 1998. Most notably, the producers of the show had seen Steve Urkel as a guest star for one show, but somehow managed to get into hearts through his character. Thus, Jaleel became part of the series. The popularity of Urkel was so great that it even influenced merchandising, such as cereal or dolls. You can imagine being so iconic that you get your very own breakfast cereal. Playing the character of Urkel wasn't successful in every respect. This led to Jaleel being overshadowed by the show as he struggled to escape the shell of the adored Urkel character. Upon the end of Family Matters, he commented on how much he hated being Urkel. He was quoted in an interview with the paper in 1999 as saying, "If you ever see me do that character again, take me out and put a bullet in my head and put me out of my misery." That's how much distance he wanted from his famous role. Even though Jaleel continued to appear in other projects, such as Psych and Fake It Till You Make It, he, for the most part, was unable to be seen by audiences as anything more than Urkel. This makes that act of typecasting one of the major challenges many child actors face, particularly those who have been featured in roles like this one. Jaleel is still active in the entertainment industry and continues to share this part of his story. His case is all the more important when talking about healthy and safe environments for the young actor. 7. Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields' role in the 1978 movie Pretty Baby is still widely discussed for its deeply troubling themes and for how it impacted Brooke herself. She was just 12 years old when she took on the role of Violet, a young girl living in a brothel in 1917 New Orleans. The character is involved in scenarios far beyond her years, portraying a child being raised in an adult environment with very few boundaries. The storyline of Pretty Baby follows Violet as she grows up in an atmosphere that centers around the world of adults and their choices, with little regard for her childhood innocence. Her character's mother, played by Susan Sarandon, is a worker at the brothel herself, which leaves Violet without guidance and support. Eventually, Violet's character is shown as being auctioned to men, which makes for an unsettling portrayal, especially considering the young age of the actress involved. For the audience, seeing such a young girl put in these adult situations raised serious questions about Hollywood's ethics and the safety of child actors. At the time, the director Louis Malle intended the film to make a statement about the hardships girls and women face, particularly in the early 20th century. However, casting a 12-year-old actress in these intense scenes led to controversy. Although Pretty Baby might have aimed to highlight issues of exploitation in society, many feel the filmmakers crossed a line by involving a real child in scenes that should have only been portrayed by adults. Critics point out that while the story may have had important themes, using a young actress for these complex scenes was unnecessary and harmful. During the 1970s, Hollywood's regulations and protections for young actors were much less strict than they are today. This meant that young performers like Brooke Shields were often put into roles or situations that would be considered inappropriate now. Looking back, many believe both the filmmakers and Brooke's mother, who managed her career, should have protected her from these scenes. Over time, Brooke herself has reflected on her experience in Pretty Baby, saying that she didn't fully understand what her role meant back then or how it would impact her later in life. Growing up in such an adult-oriented world at such a young age left her feeling confused about her identity and her career. The effects of Brooke's role in Pretty Baby lasted well beyond the film. In the years that followed, she became a topic of fascination for the media, with a strong focus on her image and appearance. This created challenges for her as she transitioned into adulthood and tried to navigate new roles in Hollywood. The early exposure to such mature themes likely influenced how the public and media viewed her as she grew up, adding complications to her career path and personal life. While Pretty Baby aimed to make an artistic statement, critics then and now argue that it went too far by casting a child in such an intense role. The movie received an R rating, which meant it was intended for adult audiences, yet a young girl was at the heart of the story. In retrospect, many feel that the filmmakers could have explored these themes without subjecting Brooke to such scenes. 8. Edward Furlong. Edward Furlong, however, is a name most remembered for his iconic role as John Connor in the blockbuster movie Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Born on August 2, 1977, in Glendale, California, Furlong was no longer interested in acting initially. It was at a Boys and Girls Club in 1990 that a casting agent spotted him and brought him into central casting. She thought he was the perfect kid for the part. John Connor, the rebellious kid who teams up with Schwarzenegger's Terminator to save the world. And she was right. Furlong's performance was so strong that he went on to receive an MTV Movie Award for Best Breakthrough Role and a Saturn Award for Best Young Actor. The achievement constituted the beginning of what promised to be a fine Hollywood career. After Terminator 2, he was paired with big names such as Meryl Streep in Before and After and Tim Roth in Little Odessa. He even went on to appear in Aerosmith's music video for Living on the Edge. Furlong was on fire. However, things began to change little by little. Even though he was brilliant at first, Furlong just could not hold the later momentum. Most of his later films went directly to DVD, which often resembles a sign that a movie did not take that much studio attention. For instance, in 2001, he starred in Knights of the Quest. However, this film did not gain much for his career. Sadly, Furlong's life was also riddled with serious personal struggles. Drug addiction battles publicly started to flare up when he lost his role as John Connor in Terminator 3. Rise of the Machines. Nick Stoll then played the much-needed and awaited role. The actor could be terminated for such addictions, as his addiction cases were becoming a drastic part of his life. He became worse after reports about his family situation started coming out. The next year, court documents stated that he had an issue of substance abuse that had affected his relationships. His ex-wife said that their son had tested positive for cocaine. A judge decided to order a visitation for him. This was very tragic for the one considered to be so promising with lots of potential. Despite all this, Furlong is best known for his role in Terminator 2. One must not forget the heavy burdens that this brought home with early success. Being catapulted to fame at a young age because of a role like John Connor left him extremely impossible to escape the shadows as he grew up. 9. Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman's performance in Leon, the professional, 1994, was a career-defining role that made people notice her talent, but it also sparked a lot of debate about the kind of scenes and themes young actors are exposed to. Portman played Matilda, a young girl who forms a close bond with Leon, an older hitman portrayed by Jean Reno. Though only 13 years old at the time, Portman's character is involved in a complex storyline that touches on topics like violence and emotional manipulation, as well as hints of a relationship that has raised eyebrows for years. When Leon was released, audiences were moved by Portman's performance as Matilda, a tough yet vulnerable girl who seeks revenge for her family's assassinate. However, it wasn't just the character's backstory that stirred up feelings. Matilda's connection to Leon blurred the lines between a simple mentor-student relationship and something deeper that felt unsettling given her age. Many critics and viewers have interpreted the relationship. Many fans see the movie as a powerful story of two